So, Houston, we have a problem. And I guess we're going to talk it out here. And again, it's going to be a non-judgmental video. I'm going to put different concepts out there and hopefully at least let you guys tag along for the way we think. And hopefully inspire you to be creative or educate you on some things, especially the newer guys like ourselves, and how we go about things. So let's dig in. Hey guys, what's going on? Will here, Flawless Exotic Creations, coming to you guys with another video. And this week we're going to talk a little bit about an issue we have. We have, how do I put it? You know, when we build these projects, we try to tell you guys that we build them around our males. Sometimes all the time we'll put pen to paper and write out a program, write out a project. And then we fill the gaps with what we need. Moving forward, it's literally going to continue to be that way. It's not going to be as many new pickups, new purchases as you guys can go down that rabbit hole of watching the unboxing videos. But that was literally the business startup, the business rollout. But you end up running into problems, and we try to limit the amount of problems we run into. All right, so Will, what are you talking about? So we keep saying, oh, you want these gene-packed males, depending on what direction we're going in. If it's monsoon, if it's stranger, if it's clown, here or there, you know, multi-recessives, all of the sort. But even if it's just single recessive, you know, we want to make sure that we have everything, all our ducks in a row. And we tend to be a lot more lenient on some of the females that we picked up or even produce and hold back versus some of the males. We tend to be a lot more strict on the males. And we want to put a video out to kind of tell you why it's that way. And typically your pairings, even on a smaller scale, you're going to have one male. And if you're breeding, you know, again, if you're just keep doing exactly what you're doing. But again, we're talking about breeding on a small scale, trying to keep everything kind of all reined in and not constantly having to, you know, buy new racks if it's not a part of your business plan. So in doing that, we try to have a jam-packed male, jam-packed females as well, especially in this market when you see them present themselves. But typically, you know, we want that, you know, and again, it's just for sake of this video, that gene-packed male, you know, recessive, multi-recessive, to be able to pair and create, you know, holdbacks, incredible animals for us to, you know, hold back. So in a sense, that would make like Wookiee clown or Wookiee spot nose clown male, you know, breeding it to, you know, you can have a yellow belly clown, you can have a lesser clown, whatever it may be, on the female side. The reason we do it that way, or let me speak about the supers, because that's what this video is about. Why do we try to limit some of the specific supers or even single genes on our male side? Is because typically when you do your pairings, you're going to do that one male to 2, 3 females, some people 4 or 5 females. So you're spreading that male's genetics across those, whatever you have planned for them in that breeding season. That's important because that means for that male, you know, where the odds go, you're going to be pairing on whatever females genes are there. It's going to be spread around, you know, if it's 5 females, 5 different times. So that brings about like, you know, the fire gene, super fire, super lesser, you know, super Mojave or Mojave slash lesser, where, you know, you got the bells, you know, you're going to produce your all white snakes. You got the super fires, you're going to produce your all white snakes with some, you know, yellowing on them. You're going to produce, you know, yellow belly. You're going to produce your ivories, which is really what this video is about, the ivories and the bells. Cinnamon, you're going to produce your super cinnamons, you know, black pastel, super black pastel. So you get the gist. You're producing these genes that we want to try to stay clear of right now for us. And again, it's not attacking anybody else's projects, is those supers that take over the snake. So your super black pastel, your super cinnamons, you're producing all black or all gray snakes where all your other genes is kind of hidden underneath. You know, your all white snakes where your genes is kind of hidden underneath. For us at this stage, we want to kind of stay clear of that. So we design a way to try to do that, but we still ran into a problem. All right. So the way we try to do that is, if, for example, we'll use ourselves, one pickup that we'll talk about right now, or that we've had for a while, is we have a really, really nice home run male. We have a spot nose, GHI, red stripe, Mojave, yellow belly clown male. Yeah. So really, 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 you know, jam packed, but at the same time, having a home run male like that, you run into issues, because imagine now you want to pair that male. You have, you know, a bunch of different directions you can go. You got this gene packed male with all these genes, and no, it's not guaranteed you're gonna, you know, throw those genes into each snake or each egg that comes out. But imagine you have two yellow belly clown girls that are also het pied. Now you're dealing with the fact of possibly creating, you know, two clutches of majority, you know, ivories, you know, where, okay, cool, you got the other genes in the mix, but you don't know what snake has what when you hit those ivories in those combos. So that's a problem for us. Then imagine you go and you want to pair that male, that jam-packed male, to Hurricane, Coral Glow, Yellow Belly Clown. And we're like, man, that would be awesome. But I don't want to create ivories that, you know, literally you can't see, you know, the spot nose Hurricane, you know, GHI, everything underneath it. So for us, that's like a red flag. That throws up a problem. And you can run into those problems as well, having Mojave in there, depending on, again, what's your selections of females. Now, the only difference in being able to kind of fix that, it's an easier way, and I'll explain, but the only way you fix that is when you picked up that male. When we picked up that male, we already had them outlined to go to, you know, all non-Mojave, non-yellow belly combinations already in the racks, already grown out, already ready to go. That's fine. But again, like I said, your females as a newer breeder are not going to change as much as a more experienced breeder, you know, because your females can last you a lot longer over time, in my opinion, than your males. Your males are going to last, in the perfect world, and nothing's perfect, you know, 4 or 5 years max before now your whole backs are kind of at size to start breeding, and they're kind of putting you in whatever direction you want to continue in, or you've already brought forward and got another male to replace that male. Now that male is your backup male. So going into the situation again, eyes wide open, hindsight being 2020, we would want to have a jam-packed male without yellow belly on him or in him, without Mojave in him, because it allows us a lot more free range to do different things in our pairings when we pair him to his 4 or 5 females. We won't be kind of sitting there wondering, what are we going to take the chance and, you know, shoot our shot at this or not? And, you know, yeah, you can shed test, but do you, you know, let's say they end up having shed tests for every single one of those genes. Do you really want to shed test a single ivory production to see, and depending on what your pairing was, to see if it was, you know, a visual clown or a het clown, because you can't tell, to see if it's GHI, to see if it's spot. No, do you really want to kind of shed test? You know, at some point you're going to be up around 300, 400 bucks in shed testing on the ivory, and hoping that, you know, hey, it carries everything that you were looking for, and it ends up being your ivory that's a holdback. I get it. It's kind of the risk versus reward. So being a new breeder, I want to be transparent and put it out there on why, you know, if we could do that portion over. I probably would do the same situation, because we have a ton of different, you know, females to kind of still put that male in the right place. But it forces us into this situation where now it's back to the drawing board on specifically those two females. We're like, okay, yep, we're not going to do that. And we're not. So if you tune in on Thursday, you'll see what the next move would be for something like that. We're faced with an issue. We don't kind of roll the dice and just rock with it. We fix the issue. We plug the hole, as they say in football. You have a hole, plug the hole. So this is the way you kind of go about things. So the takeaway for this video for all new breeders like ourselves is on a complex, especially like a clown pie, whatever your recessives are, or you're not working recessives, on your complex combos, typically you're spreading your male around. Typically you're not doing, if you're breeding, you're not doing just one-to-one. If you are, that's fine, because maybe you're just doing it as a hobby. Maybe you're just doing that one, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm talking about people that's trying to chase a certain combination, you know, and I use Pompeii for example. If you're trying to produce a Pompeii and you have, you know, a male where it's a, you know, whatever, you have 2 or 3 genes of the Pompeii and it's a visual male, and you have females that have pretty much all the other genes and maybe het or visual clowns. When you do those pairings, what you're trying to do is increase your chances of producing the Pompeii. Because just because you have one clutch don't mean you're going to produce a Pompeii. Sometimes you have to have 3 clutches, because whatever your odds are in the odds game, it's per egg. So the only way you increase your odds is to increase your egg production. Again, I digress. But to elaborate just a little bit on it, you're going to want to stay free of certain complexes if you're worried about having to shed test babies that you can't necessarily ID because they're pretty much covered, because they're all white snakes or all black or all gray snakes. If you're comfortable doing that, do it. You know, it's nothing wrong with it. If that's your project, work that into your project. I agree. But for us, that's not our specific project. And I felt like I don't want you guys to hear, I mean, it's really not a lose, but I don't want you to only hear the positive things coming directly from us. I also want you to understand, like, all right, well, wow, this is a problem. So I want you guys to know that it was a problem, and now this is how we're going to fix it. But again, Thursday, you're going to see how we're going to fix it. Comment down below if you guys face issues like this. I've talked with several other breeders, and one breeder specifically that's pretty big now, that started off very small. And it's funny because they said the same thing I said. They said earlier stages, when they never really saw it being a business for themselves and they were just having fun, they've spent a lot of money on snakes and faced this same issue and just decided just to breed them together. They didn't really think about it, but now as a bigger, you know, household name breeder, they're like, yeah, I would never do that breeding. So I want to learn from other people, which I feel like I am learning from other people, but I also want to, you know, put it out there for people that are aspiring to be bigger than what you are, just wanting to be better. Also, to not have to make mistakes. If we make mistakes, you know, put it out there so you don't have to make that same mistake. Also put that content out there so you know, like, hey, I do know better, so I'm gonna do better. That's pretty much it. But hit that subscribe button. It's Will, Flawless Exotic Creations. Check us out on Thursday on how we fix this problem, and we out.